coaching mastery, okay? Of coaching mastery. Remember, we say that this is the rock bed, okay? Coaching, one-on-one coach, this is the rock bed for everything, for all the businesses, for all the content creation, for all the, it is, for as long as you're able to help someone, then you are able to help multitudes. If you're able to help one-on-one, then you're able to help multitudes come out of whatever situation they need to be able to get out of. All right? So let's go into number one. Number one is introductory information. Introductory information. Now, introductory information, so many of us have gone through that level. We have been at a place where we have consumed so much information about what it is that we want. All right? And we have gotten lost in there that sometimes we're like, but what was I reading about? I don't know whether it has happened to you. Like one thing leads to another. Maybe another video comes, another writing comes, another, until you are totally off track of what you were reading. But again, you also feel like whatever you are reading is also good, that you don't want to leave it. So you promise yourself that I will go back. How many of us have open pages on our search engines that we have never gone back to? Like you leave it open, you're like, I am not closing it, I will go back to it. Some of us, we even go and bookmark, but we have never checked the history of our bookmark. Why? But we keep piling up information. Now, I will tell you, this is a limbo, the introductory information, this is a limbo where most people die, where most gifts die. Because people consume a lot of information and there is nothing they do about that information. And if we are not careful, even in the mentorship, if you take on information and information and information and information and everything, you feel like, hey, that one, that is doable. But what coach said today is doable. Do you know that every Friday there are people who will feel like that, I also can do that one. You know, when you go through the week, you go cold. Again, like you were put in a freezer. And then when you come back, you're like, but that is also possible. God fights my battles, you know. So, but like we consume so much information and then we do nothing about it. And before we know it, we get disappointed because nothing is coming. Not knowing that information is not going to implement itself. You are the implementer of the information. But implementation suggests and demands that you take a leap of faith. To believe in yourself so much and say, you know what? I am actually going to help marriages. And someone will ask you, but marriages of today, they have gone totally off track. And it's okay. The starter of this institute is the one that can bring them on track again. So me and God are going to, to partner in this. You get it? I'm going to participate because he has put this on my heart. Why is it that we all have different niches? That we all have different giftings. There are people who have giftings, and I'm like, if God had given it to me, I would have gone back complaining. And I'm like, God, no, this one, I can't. Because like it's totally out of my focus. It's not something I even admire. Like what? Being a bank manager, a teller, a bank CEO, a bank what? Like seriously, a sentence impunzo mutwe, no kuzibala zintawanya, newe zibazangi, by the way. Give me 2 million, ngazirimu 10,000, you are disturbing me. I would rather hold dollars. I would rather. Like seriously, there are things that this, yeah? You just don't like. There are some of you that love certain meals, but you're like, I do not mind how it is prepared. I will buy it ready. Or I will go where someone has made it. Those that know how to do, because I'm from the coast, so I know how the coast pilau is made. My friend, that takes nearly a whole day to cook. Kubanga balinga bagubobeza no gubo, or ababobeza pilau. And I'm like, no, I am not going through this bother. You get what? You get it? We will pour a meat into the saucepan and water and salt, and we will look at how she's looking. She's like, what? You know? But have you found someone who is eager about cooking? My friend, they don't want even, it's Diana. Like, you cannot miss a step. When she tells you I want butter, it has to be butter. When she tells you, most of the times when I have any kind of hosting more than 70 people at home, I'm like, you know what, you have the list. How much money do you need? I need this money. I'm like, go and buy your things. Because asigenda kwerunda, simanyi I want, simanyi coconut what, cream, simanyi sour cream. I'm like, you know what, I have better things to mind. You get it? So we have all been called to do certain things, but we have totally gotten information and information and information, and then we are getting drunk on information. So I need you to be able to set a standard in your life and know that this is just a level that I must get out of, and I must get into the next level, number 2, which is immersion and implementation. Now that means immersion goes deeper, okay? You penetrate deeper. Information alone is useless. Immersion is being in class, is being in the space, immersion involves impartation. The reason as to why we have so many things that are actually not going as well today is because we've had so many people that have embraced the online. Yes, it has made things simple, but do you know that there is no immersion in the online transference of information and implementation? Like, it's not there. That there is something that is missing in the equation. That is why I can put on a picture and then I will go and then I will come and turn on. As in, that means I can see the notifications. I can be distracted while I'm online on the call. But when you come to such a place, that means you didn't just push your body through the door for the sake of pushing your body through the door. There is a level of impartation that if I was in my office and I prayed for everyone that would turn up today, that even if it is one word that you are taking from this place, there's something that it's going to turn your life around in one way or another. You get it? So now immersion, that means you must sit under someone. You must be drenched in, you must be in the space. There has to be impartation, and you must be engaging and participating. Some of us want to go to spaces and we want to look. We want to look, we want to see other people, and we are like, Mama, why you baby jawa? And like, we'll go on and on and on, but there is no engagement. There is no participation. There is no, you just want to be in the back, you know, or not even just seated, but seated anywhere, but you just want to mind your business. How many of you have gone to church? We even have a pastor in this place. And no la bendiga, ngeri ku scrolling ku internet. They went to a place of immersion where they should be participating. Participating even involves shaking your head, agreeing, you know, taking in and saying, wow, I have never looked at it that way. Now it is sinking in. You know, if there is chance to ask a question, you're asking. But you will find our friend, the Gen Zs. They look up once, and then they look back. When people are clapping, they look at everyone that is clapping. And they're like, but what was so touching? My goodness, I don't know from which planet some of the Gen Zs are coming from, but they're like locusts. I know some of you are them, but do not stone me. Especially, I know one culprit here. Do not stone me, okay? So, the place of immersion. That when you get into something, it could be a networking place. It could be a business something. As in, can you get where the water is boiling? Do not be at the fence looking and saying, you know? You get it? Where it is boiling because you want to walk away with something. Because you want to go to the next level. That now I have been immersed, I have been drenched, I am smelling this. You know, when you're immersed, you are actually smelling that. If you've ever been baptized, you know that if you're baptized in muddy water, you actually drank the muddy water. Because you are drenched, your clothes are holding on, and you know, you're saying, I died with Christ and resurrected with. You get it? So that is immersion and implementation, and it requires embodiment, okay? It requires, for example, can people learn to swim on TikTok? Even if they made the best videos of swimming lessons, they're like, now you take your hands and do like this. Now the butterfly one, you do like this. Now the marine one, you jump in like this. Now you will see all those things. And you know, half the time when you're watching, it's like those workout videos. When they're, you feel like you're losing calories. But are you losing calories? No. So even when they say, you do this and you take your hands, but they are in the air, they are not in water, you're not learning how to swim. So the place of immersion demands that you go to the pool. That you drown a bit, and they pull you out. And they're like, okay, lay flat now, face up. And they're like, but no, I'm heavier than water. And then the instructor will tell you that actually water is heavier than you. You are lighter than water. When you sleep, the water will just carry you. You're going to float. And then you stop fighting. Because when they let you go, you start fighting. And then but when you fight, you're going to drown. And you're like, okay, stop fighting. Do you know some people hold their breath? They're like, I'm not going to breathe. And they become so stiff. And the water does not want you to be stiff, because the moment you're stiff, still, you become, the water wants you to relax. Yes. It wants you to relax. To even put you, to like, enyingo zonazite. And let me tell you, not even your finger is going to drown. Not even your finger is going to drown. You can stay on the pool for more than 2 hours without drowning. Yeah, tell that to your head. That is why I'm saying you cannot learn anything without embodying it. You cannot. That is why one of my mentors, of our mentors together with my husband, he was called Mr. Daniel Peters, may God rest his soul. After we got married, because he was the one really, he even made me a special bridal shower from America, and after marriage, she came to me. After, certain things started happening, going, berserk with in-laws and stuff like that. And he was like, now you're a real coach. It's like, now coaching is coaching. I remember looking at him. I want to get annoyed. I can't get annoyed. We had gone to the village to see some people in my husband's village. And the treatment that I got, I was like, I'm never coming back. And he told me, you will come back. Because you're going to give birth to children that belong to this family. You will come back. Like, but you see, now you're going to help people better. Because now you are in it. Do you see what embodiment means? That while you're outside, you can tell people, but you didn't give good sex, but you didn't cook good food. Why? Because you're not cooking for anyone. The day you start cooking for anyone who wants their things a certain way, that is when you're like, but what exactly do they want? Can't they want easy things? But you're even a working woman. Now you are in it. Now you understand the frustrations of both sides, right? So embodiment and immersion, all right? Because now we are talking about mastery. To get to a place where you are a master in the skill that you are in. If it is coaching, that is why I told you that right now, the level of discernment I have, even you just walk in, sometimes you just call me and tell me, I have issues, but I'm called to book a session. Before, I don't even ask you what you're coming for. I already know what you're coming for. Because there's a level of mastery that I have gotten to, all right? So let's go to 3. 2 is immersion and implementation. Number 1 was introductory and information. Number 3 is isolated iteration. When you isolate, all right, that the immersion could have been with so many people. The implementation could be in the face of other people. When you isolate, however, you are getting to another level of not just doing things because other people are doing them, of doing them because they are embodied in you. They are inside of you. There is a laser focus. Okay? There is a laser focus. For those of you that go to gym, you will hear people say, today was leg day. That today I was working on the back. That today, now, that point of isolation, they isolate the different muscles, but they are working on the same body. So they isolate things, even isolation of ideas. When you are at the level of information, you're taking in so much. At the level of immersion, you're cutting off certain things, you're implementing certain things. At the level of isolation, you're pulling out a certain item and you're saying, I am laser focusing on this item. Ngoe bagamba dingana mawolu yagajjamo ochi. Njaba somese munimi zonna. You know, because if you keep doing something and do it again and do it again and do it again and laser focus on it, the amount of experience that you are immersing, when you hear the same kind of feedback, when you hear the same kind of, as in, you don't need to read again in order to prepare for a session. You don't need, when someone is coming and they're facing a narcissistic person, as in, you will even explain to them their problem more than they understand their problem. And they're like, okay, so this is how your wife behaves. And then you will start, and you're like, but how did you know? Why? Because you've been doing this same thing again and again in isolation. So now when you come back and someone is giving you their teenager and you're talking about suicide and you're talking about, that is why I told you it's good to start small and grow big. Now, isolation is you streamlining yourself so that you can anchor yourself. And after anchoring, then you can be able to shoulder so many things. That someone will come here with business and you'll have some knowledge about business. And by the way, you will sort their issue. And they'll be like, you know everything. And you'll be like, it's not that I know everything. This is actually my base, but because it's also a business, I know something about a business. Okay? Because I am married, I know something about marriage. Because I have children, I also know something. I can talk about something about children. Because I have gone through a heartbreak, I can actually also help you with a heartbreak. Because as in, so you become not a jack of many. You get it? But here you are anchored because you took the journey of mastery. All right? So isolate, work on one thing. Practice. For example, when we say like rapport, do you know there are people, some people are buying elevator pitches that, you know what, for people who are dealing in this, you know all those templates that are being sold, they are being sold to lazy people who do not want mastery. Yeah. Let me sell you 1,000 hooks so that you can go and hook your clients so that they can be able to buy. Even if they sell you 1,000 hooks when they are not coming from your heart, you will put them there and guess what? People will pass by. They will scroll. But the day you open your video and say, guys, listen, this is so important. I felt it so on my heart. Everyone is like, what did he feel on his heart? Like now it is coming from you because you talk to a certain client and you know this is a situation that so many people are going through. And now you're bringing it in a content form on TikTok and everyone is like, you know what? That's exactly what I am going through. There's a video that is trending right now where I was talking about men that are frustrated and they've given up on relationships because they were heartbroken and now they cannot bring themselves back up to be able to. It is the most trending right now. And guess what? There are more than 3,000 men that have commented on one video. Men. Saying, I am 49 and I gave up on marriage. I decided to just give birth. You're talking exactly to me, I am 25, but marriage is a scam. I am talking about as in men. You know they're least human beings to comment? They usually comment on things that are not that important and that serious. But this particular one, even when you go to Instagram, in the recent video, is the one that has more views and only men commenting. You get it? But why did I talk about it? Because at some point in my life, I actually believed marriage was a scam. At some point in my life, I actually believed, I don't think there is anyone that was made for anyone and then they can have a good life. I have told you these stories that I had said I will never. But I had promised myself, however, I will have a good life. So I was willing to go after everything and God reminded me, I need you wholesome. So while you grow in business, while you grow in people helping, while you grow in whatever it is, your marriage is also going to be one that is life-changing. And that took humility to eat my humble pie and accept. And also accept to be, you know, when you get tired of certain things, you develop a certain masculine energy all of a sudden, and you don't want to know. And now, I had to come back and accept to be a woman. And a feminine woman. And let me tell you, femininity is the sweetest thing that God has ever created. That God has ever created. Definitely, by the time I wrote Deliberately Selfish, most people were abusing the fact that some people were becoming feminine and some men were good, and so that was a solution to give to people that should this situation happen to you, take back your own happiness, value yourself, love yourself, so that you will love from a point of love. You do not love from a point of hatred. All right? So you see, there are so many things that actually happen to different people. But when you practice certain things and you're like, there's a technique I want to practice. Is it rapport? Is it networking? Is it, I want to practice making sales. This cohort, we are going to be so serious about sales and marketing. Why? Because you're not going to launch a course and then fail to market it. You're going to write 50 posts about promoting your course, pre-production, with the hooks, with everything, and you're going to program them in a whether in a Word document or whatever it is, so that you can make campaign. Because if you have something to sell, do you know that you show up better on social media? Because you have something to sell. But now if I tell you, go and do content, this day you will see a hen fighting and you'll be like, oh, but that is also content. Because these days anything is content. You get it? People are taking people's videos unaware these days. And they're putting them on social media. So now you'll be like, you'll be scratching your head. So I don't want you to scratch your head. I need you to develop something that can be life-changing. It could be 2 pages. It could be a book that has 50 pages. It could be a course that has 3 modules. But you know that it's going to be life-changing. We promote it together and make sure that you do sales and marketing, because so many of us have worked on the gift that we have, but we still fear to make sales. We're like, people will know that I need money. So what? You need money. Don't you need money? So ask for it. Tell them. Now we even have, I have a content studio. Yeah? It's called CTA. Yes. So when you have content needs, you want to streamline your brand, you want to, whatever it is, you can panel beat it, and by the time you actually have content, you have shot the video, you have gone through the pre-planning of the launch, and there is someone to actually help you launch. But you need to be able to isolate certain things and be able to learn what to be able, and then you can masterfully bring back together, so that you're this coach or people helper that is filled with aroma. That when someone sees you, when someone hears from you, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, like, you woman, but like you get it? Why? Because you have brought those pieces together, and now you are a master, not at everything, but you are anchored, okay? In wisdom. Number 4, individual iteration. Do you still need the spelling? It's only a Gen Z that responded. It's okay. So individual, okay? Take your own attempts. Here, I am giving you a framework, right? I am giving you guidance. Could be about content creation, could be about coaching, could be about business promotion, could be about whatever I am giving you. You are not exactly supposed to go and do exactly what I have told you. You can do what I have told you. Over time, you are testing different things, and now you're coming up with your own formulation of what you must be able to do. And you're like, yeah, I think we were told this, but this has actually worked better. Now there is individualism, all right? That you do not just take the word of your mentor, you get it? Because you are in a different season than the season I actually grew up in. So you're in a different season that has different needs, that has a different speed, okay? So that means you must be able to carve your own space, speak your own language, have the individuality. Because if I was still, I was not blessed to have a practicing mentor, as in to look at, but I would never have wanted to sound like anyone. And I don't think in me I even had it, because you see, I speak Sambala Sambala. I am here, I am there, I am, you get it? My speed and what, like clearly, like copying for me was out of the equation. Now, most times, however, when you have a mentor or you submit to someone, you will hear some people telling you, I can hear you starting to speak like Bahati. It is subconscious. It is subconscious. Yes, it is not you trying to pick it. But because you have listened to me again and again, you even start interpreting certain things and saying certain things like I say them. Now, that is a gift. It's not that it's a bad thing. But after some time, you grow into individuality. Okay? And that when I sit under you, half the time I don't want distractions. I'm like, I am writing. Why? Because you have accepted individuality and now you are giving it to me the way you need to give it to me, not the way I taught you how to give it out. Now you are a master. That now you cannot fail. Give me any subject, okay? Any day. Tell me you're going to a conference, it's in the US, and you're going to talk about this, but you're not allowed to look at the phone, you're not allowed to look at anything. Just come the way you are, go to the plane and get to the stage. I will speak for 10 hours non-stop, and everything I speak will make sense. I don't need to read notes to make any presentation. I have lived these things, and these things have become a part of me. You get it? So, ask me about any question, even if it's connected to a sickness, and I am not a doctor. I will have at least first aid, or I will have something to tell you. Definitely, I will give you a disclaimer while I'm at it. What disclaimers do they give? You seek professional, what? But I will be like, until then. Because do you know that you can be called and gifted and have wisdom and interpret things better than a doctor would interpret them? Have you gone to a doctor and you understand your sickness more than the doctor that is treating you? Eh? And sometimes because you can piece information together, and like now, I felt like this, I read about this, so and so talked about this, and now you've come to a conclusion. And now they're taking you through the testing, and then you're like, but this is exactly what's going to come out. And it's exactly that is actually coming out. It doesn't mean that you're a doctor. You have knowledge and you have wisdom, and by your wisdom is much faster than some people, and some people are a lot slower. Do you know that when you go to some places and people are slower than you, sometimes you feel frustrated? Yeah. You're like, you know what? Has a speaker ever spoken? And you're like, oh God, when will we leave this place? You get it? And sometimes, by the way, they have a very good message, but the way they are bringing it out has failed to merge with your speed and with the way you take in information. And you're like, they had good information. You're like, I will get it from sister so-and-so. You get it? Why? Because you feel like, this is not the version that I can be able to actually consume this. So, individual iteration, take your own attempts, okay? The only way to become independent is to make sure you make your own decisions. The only way to make sure that you're independent is to make sure that you make your own decisions. And then fail and get back again. And fail and get back again. Twist that video, change that content, write it a different way, because there are 1,000 things that they're going to tell you. But it doesn't mean that whoever is telling you, some of them are actually copying and pasting somewhere. So now when you start your journey and you're like, okay, this is how I want to do it and this is how I want to do it, before you know it, you have landed on something that works for you, that you can actually become knowledge that you can monetize and teach other people. Now that is at the level of mastery, that you can monetize your knowledge. The people that are telling you, come, even if you have no knowledge in anything, we can actually create a digital product. That is how people are getting frustrated. They're like, it's going to take 4 weeks like this, and you will be getting money and ching, ching, ka-ching, ching on your phone, while notifications are coming and money is dropping on your bank. And then 4 weeks go, and you're still seeing stars. Yeah. And then they will tell you, oh, but there are these products that you can even sell, like you can get a license to resell a certain program. Do you know that when you sell something that you didn't have contribution to, it feels like scam? Yeah. So we are not after the money. The money is going to come. We are not after the money. We are about mastery. We are about impact. But when the impact is made, automatically the money is going to come. Because when people now call me and tell me, we want you, and I give them my rate card, and they're like, but we can't afford. And I'm like, but I can recommend another person. They're like, but we don't want another person. We want you. And I'm like, it's either this or that. So you decide. And because now I'm in the peak season, the last half of the year for me, it's the highest that I have to send away certain things. So now it's a matter of that I will not even bargain. When it comes to ministries, by the way, I will have, like, you tell me youth ministry, by the way, there are some kids that came, and they were speaking so much English, and I was asking, how old are you? And, you know, I'm 17. How old are you? I am 18. But they are speaking all these mysteries of God, and they are speaking of, and then, like, in my heart, I'm like, so how much am I going to charge these guys? So I look at them, and I'm like, you know what, just tell me the hour, I will come. And they're like, how much are you going to charge? I'm like, no. I'm coming to mentor you. I'm not coming to charge you. But that is on the side of the mystery. But when the mastery kicks in, you demand your own price. You name your own price. You're like, if you can't afford me, I have other people. I know other people that I can be able to recommend, and they will do a good job. Okay? And by the way, when they ask me that recommend someone, I will even be in their inbox immediately. I'm like, you know what, get in touch with so-and-so. And I will even set them the price. And I'll be like, don't go beyond 2 millions. Yeah, because if they couldn't give me 4 millions, then do not go below 2 millions. And then some of them have even given me tithe. they're like, for the first time in my life, I earned 2 millions in 1 hour. And I'm like, yes. Now that should show you the possibility that you should raise your bar high, that there is a lot more if you can be the master in this, and people can see you as an authority in this. Because when someone speaks with authority, do you know that no one can say, ah? But when you speak without confidence, everyone is like, is she sure about what she's speaking? And some people start, they're like, no, I'm not so sure what's coming next. Some people will go for short call. Some people will go on TikTok. They're like, let me just close my ears. I don't want to. People get embarrassed on your behalf. But once you have authority, your voice, by the way, when you speak with authority, your voice never shakes. When you speak with authority, there is a way your voice even goes into the lower octaves. It's no longer in the pitch. Yes, because you speak with authority. Because when you are fumbling, hey, I'm so happy to see you. Now, you are fumbling. But the moment you have settled into the place of mastery and authority, then you're like, guys, it's so awesome to see you, because there is no formula. Some of you have been told when you go, now, it's so nice, okay, good evening, people. And then you're like, no, we are going to talk about this, and we're going to talk about this. But when you get to the level of mastery, you're like, you guy, the one that is putting on red, you know that I really like your style today. That is a conversation opener. You are at a big auditorium, you're speaking to thousands of people, and guess what? Your opening statement is you like what the guy is putting on, and and then you come back. The moment you do that, everyone is like, who is this woman? Who is this woman? You get it? Now, whoever does not want to listen wants to listen, because that shows that the ground on which you walk, you are so sure about. And you are unshakable and undefeated. You know what you came to deliver, and you're going to deliver even more than you came to deliver. But the moment you're shaking, you go up the stairs. Half the time, do you know that some people, I don't know if some of you have experienced, some of you have spoken in some spaces, when you look up the staircases going and you're like, God, I hope I don't miss a step. When I'm like, you predict doom before you get to the, like, God, I hope I don't miss a step. And then when you see the podium shaking, and you're like, but that podium, isn't it going to shake my phone? And then, like, why? Because you're in the fear zone. Because there is no mastery. Because if the devil did you a number and your notes got lost, because in the fumbling you can delete your own notes. While you're doing this, these gadgets that we have, pew, delete. It has gone. And then you start looking around. You're like, oh my God. Oh my God. Do you know that when the notes fly, you don't even remember the heading? And because you don't have mastery, you cannot even twist. You cannot even do. There is a time, I think that should have been more like 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I was here and I was called, my child was sick. And I had just introduced the topic. That day I think I was talking about double-mindedness. So I introduced the topic and I called Coach Fifi and I was like, I am leaving you in my place. I am rushing to the hospital. Guess what? She talked about double-mindedness. And the session was superb. When we were going, Diana was asking me, but now, do you need me to stay behind to organize anything? And I was like, no, they're in safe hands. Because that is how much I trust her. That she has gained a level of mastery that you were around. Were you around? Yes. Didn't she deliver exceptionally well? Yes. So that day you go and you don't deliver exceptionally well, never mention you were minded by Bahati. Never mention. Do not even, hey, that they don't like my post. Lest they see you and they're like, but the people that usually like her post. That's a joke. But what I'm saying is we are capable of getting to that level where the world is going to look at us, where I go with you to a place and I resign from speaking. I have done that with Coach Molly. I go to a place, I was the one invited to speak, and because they see me there, they can let me usher another person to speak. And so I'm like, before I speak, let Coach Molly speak. Number, and they're like, we need more time, guys. And I'm like, but now you don't even have time to speak. No, but no, what brought us here, Chiwedi? You know? She spoke, and while she was speaking, I was like, yes, that's it. You know? You know someone who goes into places where you didn't even think they would go. And because some people, when they start speaking about the certain things, they'll go, stay in your lane, please, stay in your lane. But there are some people who speak and, you know, God leads them to different places and you're like, go, because I know, you will always find your way back, you know, and that is a level of mastery that comes with immersion. It comes with isolation. It comes with you accepting your individuality, that I talk about healing. So if you want me to talk about anything else, I can try. But when you, in my zone of genius, healing, there, you have me. Okay? I will talk about forgiveness, and everyone in the world will keep quiet while I'm talking about forgiveness. That is Coach Molly. You know? She will talk about trauma while you're like, Bahati trauma, do you know there are some people here who don't know what trauma means? Yeah. You're like, Bahati trauma, and she will break trauma until you're satisfied that you're also traumatized. And you will be like, yeah, that is how we started naming her names. Coach Wamtima Gwange, Ate Simanyi Coach Healer, Ate Healer, My Healer. Why? Because she will convince you that you didn't know you were traumatized, but you're traumatized. So you need healing. And indeed, you will go for the healing. All right? So, stage 4 results cannot be acquired, but stage 1 efforts. Stage 4 results cannot be acquired by stage 1 confusion. Because now that is a deep end. If you want to stay on the level of information, stay on the shallow end where you cannot drown, where you can still stand on your 2 legs. But you will never learn how to swim. At the level of mastery, that is risk-taking, you know, where you're saying, you know what, let me go to the deep end. I will dive, I will come back. I will hold myself on the metal, until I can actually do a marine from where the pool starts up to where it ends. And that is the only time I will come. But in order to get there, I used to start from the shallow end. I would go marine and then I would be breathing. And then Tim would tell me, but relax. When you go out there, I was like, do you know that when you go down there, you can even open your eyes? And I was like, me? Open my eyes in a pool full of water? And he's like, yes. Because when I go marine with you, I am looking for you. So I am actually seeing, I'm looking at you. And so I learned to open my eyes and I was like, so water has nothing on my eyes. I can actually breathe in water, you know, without, and I can go under until I come out the other side. Or I can even go. Now I even became a pro that I would go and turn. And you'll be like, don't do it so fast. I'll be like, I will turn. Even if I turn a quarter and come back up, I will turn. But like it just felt so good to master something and feel like you are a pro at it. Me who started that, I couldn't even cross the width. Huh? You get it? So I need you to trust yourself that you have what it takes. To trust yourself that you have what it takes. There is no one that has it better. There is no one that is more eloquent. There is no one that is more beautiful. There is no one that is more handsome. There is no one that is more gifted. Your gifting is special and it is unique. Your desires are unique and they're supposed to walk you the journey and the process of mastery so that you can get to a place where you're no longer questioning. You are at peace with yourself. And whatever comes out of your mouth builds. Okay? It helps. It heals. That you become the rivers of living waters that God talks about. Okay? That comes at mastery. And for everyone that is saying you don't need to be really good, you really have to be good. Okay? For everyone that is saying that, you know what, I will teach you how, I will teach you how to do things until everyone says yes. No, people say yes to mastery. They don't say yes to fakes. Because we understand what fake is. We smell it from a distance and we can know that this one is faking it. And we do not want. Okay? So people will tell you, oh, I can teach you how to scale. They don't have a business. They don't have a business. But they have the theory of the business and they can teach you how to scale big and make big money, but they have never even trusted them enough to sell shoes. Okay? So I need you to be woke. They call it to be woke, right? I need you to be what? To be woke. The main goal is to become a good people helper, a good coach. The main thing is not money. When someone is faking it, you can see they don't have the experience, no confidence, no conviction, no certainty. And then shortcuts cut you short. You don't need any shortcuts in your life. Let your life play out day by day. It is painful, it is long, but it makes you better and it builds your muscles. Allow me end here.